Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the New Earth Leadership Summit. I'm your host, Therese Tucker, and today I have with me Debra Giusti, and I can't wait to tell you more about Debra. Debra has an incredible history. She has been in the conscious evolution movement for quite a while, and she's hosted many events, including the Harmony Festival, which you hosted, Debra, for 33 years.
Definitely, yeah.
So, and now you're producing the Saturday Night Alive series for the Global Peace Tribe, as well as helping produce many events. And you also do Wishing Well Productions, which helps to circulate information about all the wonderful events going on in this community at this time. So what I want to ask you, Debra, the first question I have to ask you is, how did you get inspired to get started with this journey, with your spiritual journey?
I think I was born, and I think I came in with a strong destiny, because as a teenager, I lived in Northern California, and the 60s happened, and so I chose my place, and here it was, and I said, oh, my people. And I really related to the consciousness that was raised at that time of harmony, love, peace, and just kind of the bottom line of that movement. And so as a teenager, I was influenced by that. And there was actually communes in Sebastopol where I lived. So after high school, I'd go hang out with the hippies and, kind of just absorb all that. And then I just felt a passion that this was planted. These were seeds that were planted. The seeds were growing now of these consciousness of holistic health, of the ecology movement, of the women's movement. Everything was sort of born in that consciousness. And I felt it was my position to till those seeds and allow them to grow. And so I went to Sonoma State University, which was very alternative. It was called Granola State. And all kinds of very trippy classes. And with that was born the very seedling of the Health and Harmony Festival. And then I knew that I saw Woodstock. And then I thought, wow, that is really how you can raise consciousness on a mass level, is get thousands and thousands of people together, celebrating love and consciousness and, working together and, supporting each other in that. And so then Health and Harmony Festival was born in 1978. And so I didn't bear children this lifetime, but I call myself an Earth Mother. And that was one of my major children that I raised for 33 years. It was a major music arts consciousness festival at Santa Rosa. It started with 500 people and it grew over the years to 30,000 people. So it really seeded a lot of the transformational festival movement that's so incredible right now. That is a huge consciousness raising platform for people. So,
I mean, that's incredible. What I want to know is how, if you don't mind my asking, because you said you started as an entrepreneur at 21 years of age. Mm-hmm. Is that when the festival started, or was there something that preceded that?
Well, I taught children's creative dance. So that was the main thing I've always been into dance. So I got a BA in dance therapy and massage therapy. So I'm always into healing. So I'm very multifaceted.
Yes, you are.
But in terms of business, the businesses that I ran kind of all came together at that time. I started the Harmony Festival. I started the Spirit of Christmas Crafts Fair, which was a very creative crafts fair with entertainment and music and family and Frosty and Rudolph and the Snow Queen. So it was a great community gathering. It was back when actually families had time to go to a fair and hang out all day. It was very different, and mothers could be there. Now mothers are working, and so these kind of fairs don't happen so much anymore, but it was wonderful. And then I also created Wishing Well Distributing, which was for the natural foods industry that was just starting at that time. So I distributed massage tools and homeopathic products and herbal products and vitamins and body care and all thing that was just emerging. So I seemed to sit on the cutting edge and see what's coming through and then facilitate it kind of getting into the culture. So that's one of my missions.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if your natal chart happens to have a lot of planets or something in the 11th house, which is representing of groups and socialization. It's like the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius, and you have a lot of that energy in you. I mean, just the ability to attract groups of people together to create events like that is definitely a superpower of yours.
Definitely my passion in a lot of ways, in a lot of forms.
And you're familiar with Dolores Cannon's work? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the 3 waves of volunteers, where would you, because I definitely feel you're a starseed. There's like no doubt in my mind as I'm talking to you that I'm talking with a star-seeded person. And they talk about the 3 waves of volunteers. Where do you feel, because which one do you feel like you fit into of those 3 waves?
I'm not totally familiar with her interpretation, so I've heard it, and I would say first wave, because I'm cutting through everything to create the pathway, and then I'm supporting a lot of speakers and transitional leaders and younger people that are coming through. So I actually mentor a lot of people. So I feel like I'm breaking the mold and creating the pathways, and then come on, guys,
I absolutely agree. And I absolutely agree with that. And you also talked about like seed point, which is very much a first wave sort of approach to the earth, right? Is just to not only cut through the paradigm that's here, but also to plant the seeds for the new earth.
That's very much so.
And just how has that been as an experience? I mean, it sounds amazing, but how have you been able to bring forward your own authority and leadership when you were basically planting the seeds of something that wasn't fully existent before your arrival?
I would say my businesses and my projects are the greatest spiritual teachers that I have. So it tests you at all levels. So what happens for me is the direction comes in, and it's like a seed is planted in my belly. And, I feel pregnant, and I feel like, wow, I feel like there's something I got to do. And then I start, putting out the manifestation signals to create that. So it calls me forward in high levels of manifestation and high levels of organization, and being able to attract people around me that have a similar mission, because these things aren't produced by one person. These are teams and tribes and collectives that do this. So you have to be able to identify and call in your team, and then just go through, and then be able to see the door when it shows up. You put out an intention of what you feel like you want to create, and then synchronicity happens, or that's what it looks like as it comes forward. And then there's a doorway, there's a person you're supposed to meet, there's information you get, there's something on your phone that tells you exactly what you're supposed to do next, and you just follow those pathways, and then the momentum builds and builds, and then other people join, and then it becomes way beyond just me having that seed thought, and comes into manifestation. And then you build a business with all the structures so that it can be sustainable.
Sounds like it takes a lot of trust and bravery to do that.
Yeah. And the more you do it and really trust, and that's a spiritual process. I mean, that's for anyone in anything in life, to handle challenges, to call in what you want with just a lot of trust, acceptance, and gratitude, basically. So that you're grateful for whatever does show up, and you're present for whatever does show up, and you really act on whatever does show up.
I love that point. So I want to actually hone in a little bit tighter, because everything you're saying is so resonant. I want to talk about, because I feel like this is a part where people get stuck. They put out the intention. I see so many people good at setting intentions, but you said the doorway appears. So can we go a little deeper here? Because I feel like maybe, is that the opportunity point? What is the doorway?
Doorways.
Doorways. Okay.
Yes, doorways. For example, in the last major creating Saturday Night Alive, which happened, I have a temple in my home and I used to hold sacred events. And the pandemic happened, and then all of a sudden, no in-person gatherings. And I was scheduled to do a benefit for Fantuzzi, an incredible musical artist who had Lyme's disease, and we really wanted to help him. So I thought, well, let's do a Zoom because I know we can reach people that way. So I knew my friend Scott was doing Zoom calls, and so we checked on that. And so we decided to do it together. Fantuzzi is known all over the world. And then we had 300 people on the Zoom call. And it was so powerful because there was so much love. There was so much creativity and music. Everyone singing and doing poetry to Fantuzzi. And so much heart because everyone was going, what's going on with this pandemic? Oh, we still have tribe. We still have connection. We're still here. We're keeping positive. And we raised $5,000. And so there you go. There's a doorway. And Scott and I said, maybe we're supposed to continue to do this. And so then that started moving it forward. And then everything just started lining up. Ideas would come through. I'd talk to people. Things would show up there. Things would show up there. So it's like, it's just even going into Whole Foods and seeing someone that you meant to talk to, and there they are, and there's the perfect moment. So instead of going, oh, there's that person over there. Oh, that's what I was calling for. Going up and seizing that moment. So that's a doorway. It's like seizing those synchronicities that show up, or an email that shows up that gives you a direction, a person, a doorway, an idea. When you set intention in motion, there's a lot of things that will show up that will support that moving forward. So it's not just like you're sitting there and it just plops in, all ready to go. There's some action and willingness to go forward and create. So that's what I mean by doorways, is being aware as the universe shows up and gives you those, doorways to create going forward.
Absolutely. And it's taking action more than once, correct? I mean, I imagine that a couple of doorways, because you said doorways. So I'm sort of seeing like
going. Yeah.
So if doorways are opening, there's a good chance you are meant to take action, and maybe it comes to a dead end at that doorway. Mm-hmm. How would you handle that? So you are aware then that this isn't necessarily a no, it's more of a what?
Reevaluate. And it just depends. Sometimes a no may be something on their side that's misunderstood. So you can represent again or see if that's meant to happen. But also I look at, curveballs or left turns as the universe saying, hey, there's something better this way, or beware, go this way. So it's very much tuning in to your GPS, your inner GPS, and tuning in what feels right for you. So that's a big part of it too, is really tuning in and getting the inner guidance and the feeling of what feels right as you navigate all the different possibilities and where to go. And also really ask for guidance. In my practice, I get up first thing in the morning. I get up really early, like 4 o'clock, and go into meditation immediately, because that's when I'm most connected with source, just having come through before I get into my mind. And that is a place where I get a lot of downloads, a lot of ideas, and with Saturday Night Alive, I would get the image of someone like a major speaker to call. And it was like, yeah, I bet they'd say yes. And I would follow the breadcrumbs and get them on the show immediately. So, and we got major people on the show, Great Braden, Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, just all the famous people, just by asking and going forward, and the connections that I had, and just following everything forward. So it was really beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing. And if you go, so to the audience, if you go to YouTube and you look up Global Peace Tribe, you will get to see all the shows that Debra is talking about, including Saturday Night Alive. And
we have a website, globalpeacetribe.com. And my partner Scott we did 90 shows of Saturday Night Alive. It reached around 25,000 to 50,000 people per show. And then I wanted to do some special events. He wanted to continue. So he created the Awakening World, and he's still doing that every week. And I'm harvesting all the incredible presenters that we had on the show. Like we did a online book launch with Deepak Chopra several months ago. And now we're doing an incredible series called Making Contact series that's all about UFOs. And it's the top presenters, whistleblowers, researchers, starseeds in the UFO movement to be on with you live. But then there's also replays to tell you exactly what's going on. Because right now it's like everything is being revealed. And that's true about UFOs too. The government is finally saying, yeah, we think there's some craft out there, you know, and there's a lot of us that are just beyond that. It's like, okay, so how do we develop this connection with the higher galactic so we can really graduate to be part of the galactic community, really, is what we're going to do in this next level coming up.
Right. And that's where consciousness is expanding to, is galactic consciousness level. So I love that, you know, that you're asking those questions. Just like you said, you ask for guidance. You're also asking the questions that would create the awareness and answers that we're seeking. So it's like you had said before, you've got to ask, right, to receive.
Totally.
So now, as a person who lives and creates from the cutting edge, so you're the trailblazer out in front of everyone, cutting the path that we can all see and then follow. I can only imagine that there must be a lot of challenge that comes with that. Can you speak to that a little bit? And then we can talk about how you move through challenge, or how you see challenge.
Yeah, that has been one of the most top teachers. If you can imagine producing a festival and getting 20,000 people to all show up at the same place at the same time, and be in harmony and have a totally high vibe. There's a lot that goes into that. I remember one year, it was a time where we called it El Nino. It rained and rained and rained and rained. And it rained all the way up to the Friday before the festival, which at that point was Saturday, Sunday. And here they were, it was like drizzling. And, you know, we still went on with it. And the exhibitors were coming to me saying, Debra, are you going to make it stop raining? You know? And I would say, yeah, definitely, this is going to happen. So I kept a really positive viewpoint. So, and then Saturday happened and boom, the sun came out, and it was like the first day of spring, and it was beautiful. So I would say the first thing is just to keep really positive and know that you can accomplish anything. And a lot of time challenges are just like we discussed before, are signposts to say, go this way, you know, maybe this isn't the flow. Because you always do want to connect with the flow and what is going to be the best, and not like push everything uphill. And another challenge is just sometimes the amount of work that's involved to put all the pieces together.
Right.
And making sure you take care of yourself. And a lot of times women and sometimes men, but especially women, because we care for the family. We have this kind of MO that we take care of everyone else. And if you don't remember to really, you know, take care of yourself, eat right, exercise, take rests, but also like I get up at 4 a.m. and I start then, and that's how I can accomplish so much. And I just go through the day, and I do a lot of self-care, so I can get a lot done and work really consciously. So self-care is really important. And
I love that. Can I just say, I love that you're an example of someone who both honors the, you know, the need to nurture and rest and reset, but you also, I mean, what you're showing me is you can also be ambitious at the same time, that you can hold both. It doesn't have to be, you know, an extreme black and white, one or the other. You're showing us how to hold both.
It has to be both. Otherwise you will crash. You can't go on without continuous sustain. And in this way, I'm learning to work more and more with the help of guidance, with higher energy, with higher frequency, with synchronicity. And I really put into prayer that everything that for example, like I'm working on fifth dimensional plane, that I'm working on multidimensional levels, and everything shows up in right order and in right flow. So I can accomplish way more than one human can do, and working in collaboration with really incredible people on the same mission. So
Yeah.
all of that's really important. But the
Okay.
main thing is to be the warrioress, because I've had huge challenge in my life, and I've had times when I haven't taken care of myself, and I've had health challenges come up. So it's just having the warrioress come up and know that you're gonna go for it. So it's using those other resources in yourself to accomplish it, and and accepting if you get a roadblock, and really tuning in and going the other direction to see what's going to happen. So
I mean, that's such a good point. And I love that thank you for, sharing with us that you've experienced that level of burnout, where it's affected you physically, because we get so many mixed messages right now. And that's like one of the reasons I wanted to talk about with leadership with many people, because I feel like the messages that are especially like out on social media, there's so many coaches now, and I love that. I mean, I'm a coach myself. There's so many of us, and there's so many mixed messages coming at people. And some of these messages are like, sleep when you're dead. Other messages are like, just sit back and let it all come to you. Don't do anything. I mean, these are the extreme versions, of course. And I see both of them as being unbalanced. And, I've tried them both. I've tried like extreme hustle, and I've also tried like sitting back so much that nothing seems to happen. And so I love that you're bringing forward this example, and that you're honest about the fact that it took you a minute to calibrate to the balance that allows you to move forward and create such big structures. I mean, big events, hosting people. I mean, these are big structures that you work in. You don't work in the one-to-one level, you work in the one-to-many level, which requires a lot of energy, I imagine. So the fact that you're letting us know that, yeah, you struggled to find that balance, but then you did find the balance. I so appreciate that, because it gives hope, right? It gives hope for anyone who's really trying to push outside their comfort zone and create big, and know that, the pendulum always writes, the pendulum is always writing itself, right? It's always going to find that balance point. Now, you said something really interesting a moment ago about working on the fifth dimensional level. Tell me more about what that means for you to work on the fifth dimensional level.
Well, this world is changing incredibly, in my experience. And we have the opportunity now to really evolve to new levels of being, of perceiving, of consciousness. To me, that's what this time is all about. It's for the awakening, it's for the ascension, and it's for the new earth. So these opportunities are available now. And this is pretty much what we've been talking about, because manifestation is definitely a part of fifth dimensional operating, which is basically raising your consciousness, your ability, your frequency to operate at whole other levels that are in harmony, that are major manifesting, that are high level awareness. All those type of properties can come in. So for me, first of all, I'm really dedicated to my mission and my spiritual mission. So what I want to manifest is not like, I want a car, I want, this, I need to look pretty, or all of this. It's really internal mission that's really at my core. So for me, I feel like that's a part of fifth dimensional reality too, is being connected with your core mission and being connected with, core values, not like 3D dressings.
Can you give us your examples of core values? What are your examples of core values?
Well, I feel really motivated to assist people to evolve in consciousness, to evolve in community, to evolve in love. And so for me, when I can make that happen and can create gatherings or create experiences for people, that really is one of my missions and values that I like to create. And in all my relations, it's not competition, you lose, I win. It's win, win, win. It's like I win, you win, and what we do together wins. So in all my business relationships and with my staff, we always create a win, win, win in whatever we do together. So it's not just me making money and you lose a little and I get some of yours. So that's a really important value. And that's sort of for me, a level of fifth dimensional consciousness where there's this flow and that happens between everyone. And high level collaboration, which is, again, it's not competition. It's like working together, and everyone has assets and so much gifts to work with, to offer. So like with my festival, it wasn't me at the top telling everyone what to do. We all worked in high level collaboration, and I empowered people to really come forward with their expertise, their creativity, their passion. And that's what created so much. It was just like flowers blooming everywhere. And to leave your ego at the door, this is not about ego. This is about us working together and honoring each other and creating something way beyond what we could ever do alone. So it's beyond the old paradigm of competition, top down, the old paradigm of, taking advantage of people, just all that old stuff. It's about love, basically. It's love that circulates everywhere and that nourishes everything and supports everything that comes around.
I absolutely love what you said about win, win, win. I think that's the first time I've ever heard that. I've heard win, win before, but win, win, win is even better.
Yeah.
And I'm totally absorbing that. I'm going to take that in and take that on because I love that thought process. And I have experienced that through the contact that we've had together. I can feel that about you. And I just love that you're sharing that with the world. So to those who are watching this, let's all go for the win, win, win. And let's see how quickly we can actually bring in the energy of New Earth. Because like Debra is saying, it is right here. It is accessible now. So that actually brings me up to the topic of my favorite topic is talking about ascension. And you've got, by the way, Debra has a beautiful free copy of Ascension Tips that she's going to share with you. So that's the link that you're seeing on your screen right there. And of course, you can click on it in the email and you'll go right to that page. So let's talk about how you are perceiving ascension and New Earth. Are they the same thing? Are they two different things? What is it?
Oh, it's all connected. It's all the same. So ascension is what we're calling now the activated spiritual process that's available for us, the accelerated spiritual process. And ascension is a process that's happened for humanity for many eons. You will notice it with ascended masters that we know, Joshua, Mary Magdalene, Saint Germain, all of that. But at this time in the planet, what I'm understanding and experiencing in myself and with lots of high-level spiritual teachers and people all over the planet is that this is a time where there's a graduation happening on planet Earth. And not just humans, but everything. The planet is graduating. And this episode that we're having here the last 2 years, this is where everything comes up to be revealed and healed, because part of that is the dysfunction that's been happening on our planet is not going to go to the next one. So everything has to be revealed and healed on a planetary level. If you've noticed, everything is is being revealed now. It used to be hidden, and now everyone knows. And then as above, so below, same with internally. everything in your life that's dysfunction, that is not of the higher level, is coming up and probably in your face, probably causing problems because you have to look at it and heal it.
Yeah.
And so it's a process of really deep internal healing and then evolving yourself to the next level of higher intuition, of being able to perceive other multidimensional realities like your guides, like the angels, like the masters, being able to live in flow and being able to live in trust, being able to, get out of fear, being able to accept every single thing that happens in your life, every single thing, and be grateful for it, and just keeping to evolve yourself. So the Ascension tips are 45 tips in 3 different categories that explain this process that everyone's going through now, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Jewish, whether you're a new paradigm person. Everyone is going through this acceleration in their own way, and every way is honored. Yes. And so the Ascension tips explain what happens in your life from the point of where you go, wow, I have the ability to really evolve to the next level. Okay, I'm committing to this in my world. So the beginning is really committing to it. And the first section is called the awakening, just waking up to what's possible. And then the second tip is transformation, where you really start to work on yourself and go through the transfiguration and start to understand things. And then the last part is really, I forget the last name of it, but it's where you get to tap into these other multidimensional abilities, like manifestation becomes a normal thing. It's not like, wow, that happened. It's like, no, this is how I work in the world. I set my intention, it shows up. And, people have to go through a real internal cleansing and healing and then acceleration. And it's an ongoing process. So that's what's happening now. And so I would say that's what's been always happening, but it's accelerated now more than ever before. So we have an opportunity to really embrace that at this time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm of the mindset that, as I understand it through the things I've studied, that the earth itself was prepared for fourth density and higher consciousness around 2012. That's when I understand that earth evolved to hold the frequencies. And it has been continuously picking up massive speed. Like from that point, it really started to kick it into higher gear. And we've been seeing it speed up and speed up and speed up as we're in this now moment of, 2022. And, 22 in numerology is called the architect of peace. So I have a lot of hope for this year, and whatever it reveals, that it's also the year. And I wanted to get your take on this, where yes, we're watching the disintegration of almost every structure and every system that exists because it was corrupt. It's not a healthy system. It's not for the good of all. It's for the good of some. And so we're watching that dissolve. And yet at the same time, I hear this calling that we're the ones who have to build the parallel structures. So I wanted to hear your take on this idea of the building of the parallel society or structures or whatever it is we need to bring forward so that we can transition.
I see it happening all around us. As people tune into, again, their mission of what they came here to do and work in collaboration. You see one thing is the new communities evolving and being created all over, of people who want together and create a whole new way of living together in harmony of the earth. And that's happening on a really big level. And there's a lot of people connecting globally more than ever before. One of the lemonade of this pandemic is everyone reaching out and connecting like they never have before on whole other levels, and being able to call out what's not working and shift what's not working. So we're still in the birth canal. So it may not look like it's all coming out, but there is so much happening behind the scenes now, and so much happening internally, that everything is moving forward. And the tipping point of all those that choose to be part of this new earth are coming together and gathering and building it in their own way. So I definitely see this all happening. And this is part of what you're doing right here, of having the global leaders come out and speak, and everyone going yes and identifying with us, and all of us come together and aligning around those concepts that we all believe in, that we want to create and that we want to manifest for what our lives can be going forward. So I see us all doing it more than ever before.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those times where, I mean, just even though we're still kind of in it, I'm still looking back in awe, and I am amazed at, it's kind of like when you're going through that difficult period, you don't see the value necessarily of it until you look back. And then you see just how amazing and transformational, like all of that helped build the version of you who's here now. And so going through this experience, but getting to do it together, it's been very like awe-inspiring to me, because when I watched as a clairvoyant, I get a lot of visuals from my spirit guides. And what they were showing me is each person being on this individual path. So they were showing us the path looks different for every single person. And yet they also showed me people walking down these paths with their arms linked together. So it was like, yes, you have to walk your own path of personal growth, soul development, transformation, whatever it is, but this is the most incredible time in history, because everyone's walking the path. Everybody is, we always have been, but it's the first time that the feeling of progressing at the same time, and not necessarily the same level and not in the same direction, but progression is happening. It's so apparent.
This is a planetary ascension.
Yes.
So that's what's different at this time than what has happened in other ages. So everyone has an opportunity to wake up together and join together and support each other in this acceleration that's happening. Because the more people that wake up, the more it is easier for other people to wake up. So yes, that's happening very strongly.
Absolutely. And my intention with having this summit, this conversation, was to show people by bringing forward leaders now like you and being able to talk to you, is the intention is to show those who are watching that they can step into leadership too. It's not something that's set aside, for a select group of people. We all have this ability. And I love what you're saying about your core mission being what drives you. So for those listening, it's, whatever that core value, the core mission that you're holding, that might be where your leadership lives.
And it's not even, well, that would be a nice thing to do. This is needed. This is what's being asked for at this time. So really, everyone's being asked to come forward with whatever their mission is, whether it's creating a community gathering for the children on the block and really helping the children go to a next level who have been really damaged with the mask wearing and all that other kind of stuff, and helping that healing, or it's having a business come through and birth through, or it's helping a homeless person. Everyone's really being asked to come into their mission and show up at a new level. So that's really what leadership is about right now. And it's you can make it up in any way, whatever comes through you, and it feeds you. When you do something that's in your mission, I say that you get spiritual brownie points. For me,
I love that.
It's one of the highest things you can do, is if you burst something and you contribute something and it creates something in the universe, being of service. That's one of the main purposes, or the main elements of the ascension, is being of service. And then we all get to benefit from that as everyone shows up in the way that is best for them.
Absolutely. And the more that I take on what's best for you as if it's best for me, the more we're moving into those higher levels of love consciousness, the higher frequencies, where we really start to see and understand on a deeper, more visceral level just how interconnected we are. right? So we're actually working for the good of others, and that's our driving force as we move forward in higher levels of consciousness. So I love that you bring that up. And you also you answered the question I was going to ask you about, what does leadership mean to you? But you perfectly nailed it about, following that core mission and stepping up to the next level of yourself. That's what I heard you say. Is there anything more that you want to add to that?
Well, just echoing again that it's for everyone, and it doesn't have to be some big grandiose thing. It's just being in the moment and being of service. And mothers are leaders nonstop because they're doing so much. But to not be inhibited by anything is when creative ideas come through, when direction comes through, when insight comes through, just go for it. And then it just opens up more and more, and everything can come to you. So
this also goes really well into the next question I had for you, which is, what is one tangible step you think each of us could take to help? I don't know if it's to help graduate or help bring in the new earth. What do you feel like we're actually moving towards here? Is it the graduation and then new earth, or is it really stepping?
It's all simultaneous. But the main thing is to work on yourself, is to really it's to tune into source and tune into your own GPS and tune into your own mission and really love yourself and make sure your frequency, your connection, your light, your clarity is as high as it can be. And then everything just flows from there. So like I said, I tune into meditation every single day where I can sit and just have peace with myself and tune into guidance and energize. I actually sit there and I take in frequencies of all the frequencies that are coming into the planet now. So that's a part of what I do as well. But yeah, tuning into source and taking care of yourself, love yourself. And, it starts with self.
I love that guidance because it takes all the confusion away. It takes all the overwhelm away, and it really just puts it back on, the key here is to really love yourself, nurture and take care of yourself so that you can be of the highest service to other people. So it's filling up your own cup so that you have enough to share. And I love that you make it. I mean, it's a relief to hear that. It's just, the message is always consistent from the universe about taking care, loving yourself, so that you can be that beautiful, bright light that you actually are. And then my last question before we talk about what you're working on, because I want to get people to know about all the events that you have coming up, because you have a lot. So I want to make sure that they can take advantage of some amazing things that are coming up next here. But if you could teach the entire world, and you actually are very, very close, like you're closer to that than some people I've talked to, because you reach so many people almost in one fell swoop. But let's imagine you could reach everyone all at once. What's one concept that you would want to teach the entire world?
It's the bottom line. It's love. Love is the bottom line. So love is behind everything. And love is the frequency that is nurturing and healing. And we're talking about the frequency of love, where you really operate from love frequency on all levels, to yourself, to others, to all the gifts that come to you, to all the projects, to everything. Love is the fifth dimensional frequency. So that's what we're moving towards, is to live in that vibration, all the time. So
absolutely,
that is the goal.
Yeah, it's the most important thing. Love it. I love it. It's so core. So now I want to talk about, you have an amazing offer that you're sharing with our audience. It's a free copy of your book, Activate Your Soul Tribe. And you can find that at activateyoursoultribe.com. And of course, the link is here as well for you. Can you tell us a little bit about the book?
Yeah, so that's one of the keys to manifesting and to having an incredible life is really understanding your soul tribe and your soul family and your soul contracts. because we all come in different soul groups. And we all have similar missions, and we find each other here. And then you have people that you're very connected with, that you have very strong contracts with, to help you understand and learn things and create things. And that's your soul family. And so being aware of that helps you to be more conscious in your relationships and in your co-creation. And I found out a lot of this through my Harmony Festival and attracting the soul tribe of the Harmony Festival of thousands of people, but then also working in high level collaboration with my soul family, the people that had the similar mission to create the Harmony Festival, and understanding the soul contracts. Because at one point, when I had done 25 Harmony Festivals, the soul contract with me doing it by myself was complete. And it evaporated. I had no juju for that anymore. It was done. And what came in was 3 partners. And then we created another level of the Harmony Festival, which was called the Harmony Festival. So, or if you're in a one-on-one relationship, to not feel like, like if things aren't working and it has to shift, to know when it's over. Because a lot of times in this lifetime, we have multiple relationships as compared to other cycles of other people, because we're learning so much that we call in a lot of our soul tribe members, soul family, so we can get exchanges with many people in this lifetime. So to know when things are complete, to know when they need to change, and to know how to get really empowered relationships. So it's a small book because we don't have time to read these days. So it's so it's easy just to get the concepts and go, oh, I get it. And there's also a template of the archetype of the queen, where you could really map out your soul family. Like I have princes, which are younger men that are like my sons, but I mentor them. I have princesses, which are younger women in my soul family that have a similar goal that I do, but I mentor them. I have other queens where we co-collaborate. I have knights, which are men that are not my partners, but we connect and we hang out, and they empower me and I empower them. And I have sisters and brothers that are all part of my family. I have allies where we have the same mission. So I mapped out my soul family so I could really understand what position people have at different times in my life. And it really gives you a sense that you really have this soul family around you that you came in with. So that's all in the book as well. So it's a big aha, and then you just go off and see your relationships in a different way.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I'm a big fan of mapping. Like you just spoke my love language. I love like looking at synchronicities and how they connect and mapping things together. So that sounds incredible. Definitely get your copy of the Activate Your Soul Tribe book, because just for the map anyway, because the whole book sounds amazing. But I love that when you can sit down and sort of get clarity of the bigger picture that you're looking at. I mean, so much. Yeah, I find it really, I don't know, there's just a part of me just loves that activation and awareness. And then it's like you see them in that new light, like you're talking about, like you just have a new experience with the people you're around. So that's beautiful. And then you had spoken before about the Making Contact series. Now, by the time people see this, it's going to be later in June. So, but it's still going to be up. Is that correct?
The live events will have happened, but we're going to have the whole series available. And it's Making Contact, the New Realities of Disclosure and Cosmic Awakening. Alan Steinfeld created the book Making Contact that he published last year, and has the top whistleblowers, researchers, authors, experiencers, starseeds around the UFO phenomenon, like Linda Moulton Howe, Whitney Strieber, who wrote the book Commune, and many, many others. And so we are going to have interviews with them that they're going to talk about what's currently happening now, because the government is finally admitting that they've seen a lot of things in the sky. And of course, we've known this for a long time. But this is going to go from way beyond documenting they're here, really understanding why they're here and what we're meant to do with them at this point. So it's going to be amazing. So it's makingcontactseries.com. So you can just go there and you can purchase the series of, it's a 5-part series of 2 hours each of these incredible speakers to have.
That's fantastic. And the link is right here. It'll also be in the description below, so you can click right on that. And maybe you'll get to experience it, a little bit of it live before it's fully closed. So if this goes out in time, I'm going to try and do my best so that it gets out just enough time so people can catch some of it live too.
Great.
But it sounds incredible.
The last one will be June 23rd, and it will be star seeds and why are they here? What do they want? So
that's my favorite topic. So let's talk about
that.
Why are they here? What do they want? Well, just from your own opinion, why are we here and what do we want?
We want to get with the program. We want to evolve and join the galactic community. You know, humanity has been warring and kind of going around in circles for many years. It's time to come up to these new levels of being, new levels of technology, new levels of relating, and join the galactic community, basically. This is part of what the Ascension is about as well.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I agree. Let's do it. It's time. We don't have time to wait. We want to do this now. Well, Debra, this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your time and energy and wisdom with us. It's so appreciated.
Yeah.
And again, you know, there's so many ways to connect with Debra. Definitely check out globalpeacetribe.com as well, as that talks about a lot of the events that Debra is in collaboration with and creating a lot of win-win-wins for. I love that. That's gonna be my mantra for the day is win-win-win. So thank you so much, Debra, for being with us.
Yes, thank you so much for all you're doing as well.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you. And I will see you at the next New Earth Leadership Summit.